Hey, middle school ministry families, welcome to week 2 of Never Be the Same. Have you ever bought something just because everyone else had it? Have you ever done something just because everyone else was doing it? When I was in middle school, there were a lot of things I wanted my parents to buy me because I wanted to blend in. There were a lot of choices I made because I wanted to blend in. 20 years later, things haven't changed. Middle schoolers still want to blend in. In fact, if we admit it, we as adults, we want to blend in. And why? We want to blend in because we don't want to stand out, because when you stand out, you're labeled as different. The disciples of Jesus stood out. Following Jesus and doing life with him was totally different than any Jewish religious leader had ever seen. And the religious leaders were after Jesus, so you can imagine what they thought of the disciples. They weren't fans of them either. This week, we dug into John 18, where we find Jesus' betrayal and arrest. This is also where we find Peter's denial of Jesus. So put yourself in Peter's shoes for a moment. As Jesus is betrayed and arrested, would you blend in with the crowd, or would you stand out as one of those who knew Jesus? When Peter denies Jesus for the first time, he's standing around a fire just trying to blend in with the crowd, trying to not stand out. We're going to get into more details of Peter's story in a few weeks, looking at Jesus' death and resurrection. But after that, by the power of the Holy Spirit, Peter preaches the gospel and hundreds come to know Jesus. Because see, when Jesus died and rose again, Peter was a witness to the unconditional and love and forgiveness that Jesus extended to him, even after he denied him. See, what I think happened to Peter was that he realized how loved he was by Jesus, that Jesus laid down his life for him. And when he realized that, he was never the same. When we realize how loved we are by Jesus, that he would lay down his life for us, we will never be the same. We will want to tell people about Jesus. We will want them to know that we follow Jesus, because when you realize how loved you are, that someone would die for you, you live differently. And you want everyone to know that they're loved in the same way, and what they have to do is surrender their lives to Jesus. The world will call us a lot of names for following Jesus. People will ask us questions like Pilate asked Jesus in verse 38, what is truth really? People will ask us, why do you follow Jesus? Do you know him? And the temptation will be for us to blend in with the crowd and to do what the world does. But we're called to stand out, to be different. We know that's a big deal to middle schoolers because the desire is there to blend in and to belong. But the good news is that through Jesus, he has given us a family. He's given us other disciples of Jesus to lean into in those moments when we do stand out from the crowd. That's why we love our middle school ministry family, because we know that as we go out into the world and we actively follow Jesus and love people, we will stand out. But because of Jesus and because of his great love for us, we can't help but stand out. Because he laid down his life for us, we can't help but tell people that he did the same for them and invite them into that relationship. Thanks, middle school families, for letting us be a part of your lives. You are cared for and prayed for on a daily basis. Have a great weekend.